At this time, I'd like to call to order the caucus meeting for the City of Twinsburg for February 27th. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mr. Post?
Here.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mrs. Labby?
Here.
Mr. Bonacci?
Here.
Thank you. Are there any presentations this evening? No. Okay. Items for discussion. Does anybody have an item that they would like to discuss at this caucus meeting? I would like to bring up a few. We had a discussion on council rules 2 weeks ago. I am working with the law director to get a redlined document back to us so that we can continue that discussion. Unfortunately, it wasn't prepared yet because there's a lot of things going on in the law department right now. It will be done. Nothing's happening. We're going to get a piece of paper going. We're not a hurry, but we'd like to continue to move forward. Second item, just to bring up council to attention, I will not be available at the next council meeting on the 12th. Mr. Post is graciously offered to run the meeting as the vice president, and thank you. We're going to add an executive session to the regular council meeting. There'll be a motion, I'll make it, so that we can discuss personnel at the request of the mayor. And lastly, when we do the prayer, I'm going to offer a moment of silence for Angie Romito. So I just want to not catch anybody off guard. Okay? That's all I have as far as items for discussion. Do we have any audience participation?
There is none.
Okay. Then let's go into pending legislation. Resolution 09-2024. This is a resolution to upgrade the city's internet connection for all the city buildings with Windstream, who is our current provider. This will allow better pricing, faster speeds, and a backup internet service plan through Spectrum in case there's an outage. This will be the third and final reading, and we're going to put this under, let's see, this is not an emergency. So we'll just pass this. Are there any questions on the upgrade for Windstream for our, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one. I just wanted to verify. It calls out in here Fire Station 2. It does not specifically call out Fire Station 1 or the police station. I'm assuming that is because they're lumped into the City Hall number. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Okay. Any other questions on 09-2024? Thank you. Resolution 10-2024. This resolution is to allow ODOT to perform deck sealing on the bridge over Tinkers Creek and State Route 91 in 2025. This is the third and final reading tonight. Are there any questions? Thank you. Ordinance 14-2024. This ordinance is to accept the right-of-way and sidewalk donation for the property on State Route 82. This will provide for a uniform widening right-of-way along State Route 82. This was approved by Planning Commission at their 122 meeting. Are there any questions? And this will be on its second reading tonight, so we will not be voting on this tonight. Okay. Ordinance 15-2024. This is an ordinance to memorialize the city's policy in Title II Americans with Disabilities Act and the ADA Transition Plan. Our engineer, Amy Morris, spoke on this at our last caucus meeting, and this will be the second reading tonight, so we will not be taking action on this. Are there any questions? Thank you. Ordinance 16 through 19, 2024. Our ordinances with the intent to establish TIF districts for certain parcels of real property pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code. This includes setting up individual funds for the deposits of service payments and specifying the purpose for which said payments may be expressed. Districts included plans for the construction of the Kitty Academy, PNF Realty, Holt Orthodontics, and Bright Path Kids. Rebecca Ziegler gave us a presentation at our last council meeting on TIFs, and this will be the second reading. And yes, the wording on those four is ponderous. So I know that we're concerned with the clerk's ability to make it through those paragraphs.
I object.
Not her ability.
Just, not, you're right. It's absolutely not her ability. It's her, it's why would we burden her so much? But we've checked with the law director and we have to read them. Ordinance 2024, an ordinance is to amend this policy regarding handling of contracts for capital improvement projects in excess of $50,000. The Ohio General Assembly has passed House Bill 33 in October 23, allowing for a statutory competitive bidding threshold to be $75,000 for 2024. This is also includes a 3% annual increase for each year after. Ordinance 2024 will allow the city to adopt the same policies of the state. This will be on its second reading tonight. Are there any questions on this? Several years ago, when the city was, when we were going through layoffs and things, we put up in place so that we could have a lower threshold to reexamine capital. And at this time, I think that we no longer need it, so that's the purpose of that. Ordinance 22, 2024. This ordinance is to amend Chapter 1197 of the Planning and Zoning Code, along with Chapters 1305, 1323, 1325, and 1341 of the Building Code to revise the penalty framework for violations to said regulations. This will be on its second reading tonight. This is to make these areas of the code consistent, because we have found that sometimes they were inconsistent for in different areas, and we're fixing that. If you have any questions, Mr. Vazana can give you an update. Is there any questions? Thank you. Resolution 24, 2024. This resolution is to enter into an agreement with ODOT for the paving of State Route 82 and Cannon Road to the East Corporation limit. The program is an 80-20 split, with the city's portion being 20%. ODOT will be administering the program, and the reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is so that the ODOT can bid the project as soon as possible. So this will be on emergency, and we'll be taking action this evening. Are there any questions on 24, 2024? Thank you. Resolution 25, 2024, a resolution to award the 2024 roadway striping program to JD Striping and Services Incorporated. This is an annual maintenance program for the traffic safety, and this year's program will include long lines, crosswalks, stop bars, markings, and words. The total project cost is $152,866. The reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is so that the contract can be entered and the city can be placed on the contractor's schedule for June through August and complete before school starts. Are there any questions? This will also be on an emergency, and we'll be taking action this evening. Thank you. Resolution 26, 2024. This resolution is to award the contract for Highland Road resurfacing to Perrin Asphalt and Associates. The total amount of the project is $459,687. This project will include asphalt resurfacing, grinding, and minor asphalt pavement repairs, along with the ADA curb ramps. The reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is so the contract can be entered, pre-construction meeting scheduled, and a time to review drawings and materials prior to the construction season. This will be on an emergency this evening. And we'll be taking action on it. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay,
Mrs. Walker.
Okay, on Highland Road, are we talking 91 all the way down to Haddon Road? I think that's Highland Road over there, or?
Patrick.
Patrick's here.
Hi, Patrick.
Yeah, it'd be Highland from almost to 91. There's a phase line, maybe about 100 feet before you get to 91, down to the city limits. It's almost to Haddon Road is the end of the city limits.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was just wondering. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Are there any other questions regarding 26, 2024? Thank you. Resolution 27, 2024. This resolution is to both apply for and accept an Energized Community Program grant administered by NOPEC. This grant would be for various energy-efficient programs and products. The total amount of the grant for 2024 is $28,955. If awarded, the funds are anticipated to be used for LED lighting at the fitness center and an installation of energy-efficient man doors at the service garage, which would be fully funded if awarded the grant. The reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is because we want to get the grant application in a timely manner. Are there any questions?
No question.
This is something we do annually. NOPEC, because we're a member, gives us a grant typically about this much money every year. Thank you. Resolution 2029. I missed one. Excuse me. Thank you. I was just going back there. Ordinance 2028, 2024. This ordinance is to amend the appropriations for the Highland Road project. The city received additional funding that is separate from the initial federal funding that was applied for. The legislation will reduce the amount requested in the permissive tax fund and increase the amount received and expended in the state grant for the toll revenue. The reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is amendments need to take place at the same time as the contract is awarded. Are there any questions on this? So this is the accounting wanting us to be square so that we can do 26. All right. Thank you.
Sorry, what, do we need to, does it matter which order we pass them in?
No, as long as they're done, they can
Same
be done
day?
at the same
Okay.
time, because
Okay.
she can have accounts moving money, and then
Okay.
they can still.
I just didn't know if you needed to pass 29 before you did 26, that's all.
Nope.
Okay.
They're still going to be done on the same day, and they'll be in order. Resolution 29, 2024. This resolution is to enter in a supplemental contract with Burgess and Nyepel to provide a sewer rate study. The study was required as part of the OEPA WPCLF application project for construction loans of the wastewater treatment plant improvement project. The cost of the study is $30,500, and the reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is so that we can have this done in a timely manner. So this will be on an emergency. We're taking action on this as well this evening. Are there any questions on 29, 2024? All right. Nate, it looks good so far. Okay, that completes the
legislation.
That completes the legislation. You know, at this time, first of all, is there any miscellaneous? Do we have any miscellaneous, any other things that would be brought up in caucus? Okay, hearing none, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to add an executive session to our caucus to discuss personnel. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bellin seconds. Is there any discussion? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby? Yes. Mr. Post?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to adjourn into executive session, and we'll be back in time for the meeting to start.
Mr. Fury, we actually need a motion to enter into. That was to add it to the agenda.
I apologize. Thank you. See, you're supposed to catch that.
I just beat him to it. He was trying to get there.
All right. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes, please.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby? Yes. Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to go to executive session.